Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm Peter Lavelle. Well, we're gonna take a look at this. Is a preview of the first presidential debate that will be on a Tuesday evening in the United States Eastern Time. George and I are going to hash it out. George, I suppose this is a much ado about nothing debate. I mean, it's been talked about so much. Um, I don't. It's very difficult for me to conceive there's a lot of undecided voters, considering Trump's in the campaign. Nonetheless, I think the conventional wisdom going into this debate is that both candidates want to avoid losing. You don't necessarily have to win. Okay, low bar, but that's where I think we stand. What's your take?
No, I agree with that. Every election cycle, we always attach enormous significance to the debates because we always think that there's going to be some devastating moment in which one candidate lands a knockout blow on the other. It really never happens. What usually happens is that one candidate goes in with very low expectations, and then as long as he's remains standing, he's hailed as the winner. I mean, this really started with the very first of the presidential debates, with the Kennedy-Nixon debate, where Kennedy went in with very low expectations. People thought that he was a neophyte, couldn't possibly stand up against Nixon's experience, and the man had been vice president. And Kennedy, managed to hold his own. He didn't win the debate. He just simply held his own. And of course, the media, which of course were pro-Kennedy, hailed as, oh, Kennedy won the debate, Kennedy won the debate. He didn't win the debate, but he wasn't knocked out by Nixon. And this has gone on in every election cycle. So now what we have is Biden is going in with very low expectations. People think he's going to have one of his senior moments when he doesn't know where the hell he is. And then Trump will just move in for the kill. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to prep Biden. He will take no risks. He will make short, succinct answers, and they're not going to allow him to ramble or anything like that. And then, of course, when they'll say, hey, Biden was knocked out, therefore Biden won the debate. And I think that's going to be the story after Tuesday. Biden is the big winner because he didn't have one of his senior moments.
Well, I mean, the liberal media wants him to win so much. So I mean, they're going to have rose-tinted glasses watching it. Okay, I mean that is for sure. Okay, they'll put their thumb on the scale there. But I think that one of the interesting things, if you're a Fox News viewer, what do you see of Biden? You only see the gaps. Okay, yeah. You only see that. And so that audience is prepared only for, that's the only thing you see of Joe Biden, and is his screw ups, okay, which historically he has, okay. I mean, we have to be fair, but I think that the coverage of Biden, particularly like on Fox, it hasn't been in the service of the viewer, okay? Because I've seen him and Joe answer a few questions, here and there, and I mean they're nothing spectacular, but they're not the kind of he's not on his deathbed, okay? I mean, so I think that is something we have to be throw into the mix. I think another thing that will be really interesting is Chris Wallace, the moderator. How much is he going to inject himself?
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I agree with that. I don't actually think very highly of Wallace. I mean, he has this enormous reputation, largely, I think, due to his father. But he enjoys as being this a straight shooter, absolutely hard.
Well, he's more of a straight shooter than most. I think you have to agree with that.
I agree there. But I think that he's probably going to frame the questions in a way that is helpful to Biden. I think he's going to frame the questions that COVID is the big issue that we're facing, and therefore, hey, Mr. President, what the hell are you doing about COVID? Why did you allow COVID to kill 200,000 Americans? So I suspect Wallace will frame the issues in a way that is helpful to Biden.
Yeah, I think that certainly he's not going to be easy on Donald Trump. I mean, because he's got his reputation to uphold. Okay, I'm very curious in how he will approach Biden. Okay, and I wonder how much if he's going to be a fact checker, since that is part of the mix since what 2012 now. Okay, that will be kind of interesting as to see how it happens. Obviously, everybody will be looking for the gaffe, which that'll be the headline, that'll be the video that will be go viral instantly. Okay, um, but like you said, I mean, if you look at the debates historically, it has to be such an egregious, not gaffe, but I mean a mistake. I mean Gerald Ford and Poland not being controlled by the Soviet Union in the Warsaw Pact. I mean things like that. Okay,
Right.
and unfortunately, because of the short attention span we have, is it going to be a joke like Reagan had about with Mondale? I won't let this man's relative youth and inexperience, whatever, however this the
Right.
sentence went,
Exactly.
was great. I mean, that's the most memorable one, probably outside of "There you go again."
That's it.
Okay.
Exactly. And exactly, Reagan didn't win any of the debates. I mean, he actually lost all of his debates, but he had the zinger, and the people remembered the zingers. I mean, Reagan was a professionally trained actor. He knew how to deliver a line, and he delivered his lines superbly, even though he lost all of the debates. Um, I think that Biden may be playing possum, where he's sort of, I'm on my last legs, boy, I don't think I can last the round, and then the opponent goes in for the kill, and of course, then he hits back. So I think that tomorrow he's probably they've trained him to be very short and succinct in your answers.
Yeah.
Answer the question, and then let Trump ramble incoherently as Trump is wont to do. So I think that probably tomorrow they'll have a disciplined Biden, and people invariably turn in for the first of the debates. There's always a fall in the audience as the debates go on. So they'll go in, they'll tune in tomorrow. They'll see Biden doing reasonably well. Trump probably isn't preparing. I mean, he's just not the sort.
No, probably not.
Yeah. And he's going to go in doing his usual thing, which is just ramble and ramble until he comes to some point somewhere. And I think then people will hail Biden as the winner. But so what? As you say, Fox News will say, no, 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 Trump won. So, that's the end.
Yeah, but if 2016 is any kind of guide, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, Trump didn't win any of his debates with Hillary Clinton. However, because of the low bar, you can make the argument that we're essentially making here is that you just have to avoid losing. You don't have to win. All right. And the interesting thing is that obviously Trump was completely unprepared to meet with Hillary Clinton. But that worked to his advantage because she looked so like an avatar. She looked so mechanical and so expressionless. And what's happening with these female politicians? They all have evil laughs. Okay. Kamala Harris has one now, too. Okay. So does Nancy Pelosi, by the way. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's a subject for another video, I think. Where does that come from? But I think Trump will say he won all three debates. I think he did say it. Of course he did.
I won all.
Well, the interesting thing for Trump, I mean, some people have made this argument, is that incumbent presidents in their first debate stumble because they're not used to people talking back to them. They're the president, after all. But I don't think that applies to Trump. I just simply because you can't train this guy. This guy is just untrainable, and he's just going to do whatever he wants to do. And he can say, whether it's based in fact, he can say, I won the election, didn't I? So I won the debates. That's how he's going to think about it. So it'll be very interesting. I think at the end of the day, depending on who you like and your political leanings, you've already, before you even see the debate, you've already decided who won.
Yes, I think so. And I think your point is right about Trump is that Trump does expose himself to hostile questioning. And he's worked out a technique to deal with it. He never actually answers the question that's made. He just does his usual kind of rambles on, and end of the, and that's the end. And which is, I think, different from somebody like Obama, who was never exposed to hostile questioning. So when he came into that first debate with Romney, it was a disaster because he was.
Romney wiped him with the floor. Jeez.
Right. Exactly, because he hadn't been. And I think the same thing happened with George H.W. Bush. Again, nobody, he had never exposed himself. Yeah, that's it. And again, Clinton had been exposed to hostile questioning. And so again, Clinton wiped the floor with him.
But she had the Pied Piper strategy, and I think it worked against her because she was. It didn't matter what Donald Trump had to say. She had an answer, and you could feel that. You could feel it. The only authenticity during the debates with Clinton was Donald Trump. I mean, he was hysterical. I mean, you're just intrigued by watching it. You don't listen to anything of it because neither one of them, they both spoken essentially platitudes. Trump, I'll be fair. Trump talked about trade, and I think that was the issue of 2016 that only he understood, and it won him the presidency because he understood trade. Okay, now, I think you're right. Chris Wallace is gonna wallop him with coronavirus. That's what Trump should be way up in the polls. It shouldn't even be a contest. It shouldn't even be near a contest.
No, not at all. The issues this year should be working for him: trade, immigration, China. Those are his issues, and everything that's happened in the past year should have been working to his advantage. Plus, he's up against an opponent who is clearly, to put it charitably, long past his best. He should be sailing towards a very comfortable re-election, and he's not. And I think that's because he is running a very poor campaign, and he's not able to get any coherent message out. So.
And I think, we can end on this. I think the biggest difference, too, is in his campaign from 2016 to now, is that he had an uncanny ability to control. He's lost that touch, or the media has learned not to go for it. Because in 2016, the networks laughed all the way to the bank because of the ratings. Okay, and now they saw what they did. So I think that there's something in the media sphere that has slightly changed here because Trump's kind of off his game. Though I see some snippets of his rallies. Yeah, but he's speaking to the converted. Okay, so. And if you don't like Trump, you're very unlikely to go to one of his rallies there. So, all right, that's the Gaggles preview for the debate. We'll do a post-mortem and see how much we were right and wrong, or George and I will do it on Saturday, thumbs up or thumbs down. Maybe it'll be me thumbs down. We'll see. Thanks, George, here. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and the Gaggle has a whole lot more for you.